Superpower human beings were once an essential part of the workforce, helping build Lincoln City alongside ordinary citizens. The government invited people with special abilities to register their powers and contribute to the city's growth. But demand for powered workers collapsed after the Second Industrial Revolution as businesses shifted to automated systems. With legitimate opportunities gone, crime syndicates moved in to exploit powered citizens, and an organization called the Trust began extracting spinal fluid from powered humans to manufacture a highly addictive drug called psych. As the drug spread, the public called for strict new laws governing powers. The police force started deploying drones and robotic guardians to monitor and apprehend powered humans working without permits. Connor Reed is a Class 5 electric scraping by with temporary labor jobs at construction sites. After a failed job interview, he talks a foreman into letting him work half a day. The police arrive for an inspection, order all workers to face the sky so drones can scan for powers, and tell the powered laborers to leave and get permits. During the inspection, a warrant surfaces for one worker. When officers move to arrest him, the man ignites his hands and tries to flee. Guardians drop from the drone and shoot him dead. Elsewhere in the city, police raid an apartment belonging to a powered man. A guardian breaks down the door, but the suspect, a Class 4 brawn, hurls a disc at the robot's neck and disables it. Officers enter and discover a room full of powered individuals being harvested for their spinal fluid, along with multiple bags of psych linked to a crime lord named Marcus Sutcliffe. Connor visits his mother Mary at the grocery store where she works, arriving just as her boss Dave berates her for accidentally freezing a sauce jar. Mary is a cryokinetic whose powers have become unstable because of a growing brain tumor. Connor confronts Dave and nearly uses his power before Dave fires them both. On the walk home, Connor urges his mother to start chemotherapy. She tells him they cannot afford it. The next day, while waiting for work at a street corner, Connor notices a van from Lincoln Power, one of Sutcliffe's known fronts. His friend Travis warns him to stay clear, but the driver Garrett says he needs a Class 2 electric or above. Connor demands $200 up front. Garrett agrees, and Connor climbs in. A mute brawn named Freddie tells Connor through sign language to put on a safety vest. Garrett drives them to a chemical plant where Connor's job is to disable an electric fence. He overloads it instead of cutting it. A pyro named Maddie melts the lock, and the van enters. As the crew loads chemical barrels, Garrett uses telekinesis to lift a guard's radio, convincing the man he saw nothing. Police receive a break-in alert and search for a red cargo van, but Garrett strips the van's logo and red wrapping under a bridge, revealing the white paint underneath. A drone spots the vehicle, but moves on when the color doesn't match. Garrett drives to a garage and has Rhino take them to Sutcliffe, a mind reader who runs his operation from a hidden club beneath the city. Inside the club, a trust representative named Cumbo is pressuring Sutcliffe over unpaid debts. He has Sutcliffe read the mind of his enforcer Copperhead, who is thinking of ways to kill Sutcliffe. Cumbo gives him 1 week to pay. After Cumbo leaves, Garrett introduces Connor to Sutcliffe, who reads his mind and sees potential. Sutcliffe tells a woman named Nia to show Connor around. Connor says he's just passing through, but Sutcliffe tells Garrett to train him quickly for a bigger job. Garrett drops Connor off with an extra $300 as a bonus and tells him to return the next morning. He advises him not to waste his talent. At home, Mary tells Connor she went back to Dave and got her job reinstated. Training begins. Connor lights bulbs, controls surges, builds precision. Garrett tests his commitment by asking why he chose this over legitimate work, and Connor admits he needs the money for his mother's treatment. Garrett learns that Connor's father, also an electric, was shot during a robbery, meaning his mother raised him away from his powers deliberately so he wouldn't follow that path. Connor collects payments from dealers for Garrett on the side and handles an electric who refuses to pay, absorbing the man's blast and putting him down with a precise shot. One night, he visits Dave at the grocery and threatens him. He tells his mother he's landed a permanent job, the lie sitting between them. Park and Davis are watching the house, having flagged Connor as a person of interest after tracing the chemical plant robbery. Connor and Garrett scope the bank, vault location, camera positions, response timing. Connor says there's no clean way to open the vault without triggering the alarm. Garrett tells him the drone window is 7 minutes, and they need to be out in 5. The night of the job, the crew enters armed. Connor shorts the vault's power to block a remote lockdown, but the alarm still fires. A frightened employee is made to dial the combination. Garrett turns hostile toward her. Connor steps in and tells her to breathe. The vault opens nearly empty. The bank cleared it earlier that day. The crew grabs what's left and runs outside into waiting drones. Connor hits them with a full surge, sending the aerial units and guardians crashing down. They drive back to Sutcliffe's club with $50,000. Garrett and Sutcliffe argue over paying the trust. Copperhead shoots Sutcliffe. Rhino absorbs the bullets with his own body. Copperhead aims at Nia, but Connor blasts the gun from her hand. She comes at him with a knife. Rhino shoots her down and puts 3 more rounds in her to be certain. Later, Connor finds Nia using Psych alone. She heals an old injury on his arm. She tells him the assassin came after her because of her ability and that she stays with Sutcliffe because of a debt her father incurred. When Connor gets home, Mary confronts him about a drawer full of cash. He says it's overtime pay. She says she called his supposed employer and no one has heard of him. As he tries to explain, she suddenly loses control of her power and collapses. At the hospital, the doctor says the tumor requires immediate surgery. Connor asks the cost and realizes he can't cover it. Park and Davis pick him up outside the hospital. Park asks about the chemical plant and bank robberies. Connor denies everything. They warn him Sutcliffe is the most dangerous criminal in the city and mention they're planning to destroy $4 million worth of his psych the following week. Park offers help with his mother in exchange for information. Davis cuts in and insults Connor's dead father. Connor tells them to recheck their footage and walks out. Garrett is waiting outside. Connor swears he said nothing and proposes a plan. Intercept the police transport moving the psych to an incineration site. His price to Sutcliffe is Nia's freedom so she can heal his mother. Sutcliffe reads his mind, confirms he didn't talk, and agrees. Nia walks out furious at being treated as a bargaining chip. Garrett negotiates his own terms, asking Sutcliffe to make him a full partner. Sutcliffe agrees. On the day of the heist, the crew positions roadblocks and waits for the armored van. Drones escort it but must fall back at the no-fly zone boundary. Once inside the zone, Garrett blocks the van with a garbage truck and stalls the driver while Connor builds his charge. The moment Garrett steps clear, Connor releases a full surge, knocking out every guardian. Garrett keeps them down with telekinesis while Freddy and Maddie disable the rest. Maddie burns a hole through the armored side. Tear gas drops inside and the officers stumble out. Then Rhino's men arrive and start shooting the officers. Maddie turns to look and is shot in the back. Garrett moves Freddy clear with telekinesis as Rhino's crew turns on them too. More guardians respond and engage Rhino's men, giving the crew a window to run. As they flee, a bullet hits Freddy. Garrett carries him to a car. Freddy doesn't make it. Rhino delivers the psych to Sutcliffe's bar while Connor blames Garrett for getting Freddy killed, arguing that his demands push Sutcliffe to betray them. At the station, Davis names Connor as a main suspect. Park pushes back. Connor isn't the type who kills officers, he's a pawn. Connor visits his mother at the hospital and promises to find a way. She tells him to stop and let her go in peace. Park visits his own daughter at his ex-wife's house, a powered child who is frightening other kids. She quietly tells her father she's afraid her parents will give her away because of what she is. Travis later brings Park a message from Connor. They meet at a diner. Connor says it's too late for a deal, but he wants to help bring down Sutcliffe before he turns himself in. The police cut power to the club and move in. Sutcliffe escapes with Nia and Rhino through a hidden passage to the garage, only to find Garrett waiting. Garrett shoots Sutcliffe in the chest. Rhino fights back, but Garrett uses telekinesis to disarm him and puts multiple bullets into him. Rhino barely slows down and charges. Connor arrives and hits him with electricity. Not enough. Rhino gets hold of Connor and slams him onto a table, hands around his throat. Garrett drives a sharpened metal tool into Rhino's eye. Connor delivers a final surge through his skull. Sutcliffe aims his gun at Nia and demands she save him. Garrett uses telekinesis to pull the weapon away while Connor takes the gun and tells Nia she'll be free once his mother is healed. At the hospital, Nia takes Mary's hands and begins healing her. Connor watches and then stops. The effort is visibly killing Nia. He pulls her back. Mary wakes briefly. Connor sits beside her holding her hand as she dies. Connor brings Nia to the police station and turns himself in. He gives her a truck with a full tank and tells her to go wherever she needs to go. In the aftermath, legislators push for an outright ban on powers in Lincoln City following the deaths of 4 officers during the heist. Park and Davis receive commendations for bravery. Garrett pays Cumbo double what Sutcliffe owed the trust and secures his own standing. Connor visits his mother's grave and tells her he won't be back for a while. Nia visits her father in prison, smiling. For the first time in a long time,